Hello YouTube, Komodo Gaming here, bringing you another episode of Scrap Mechanic. Today we're going to be checking out some viewer creations. Now I do apologize for the way I sound. I've been sick the past couple days. It hasn't been fun at all. And I've gotten behind on my YouTube work and my real job, so anyways, I do apologize about that. We will be returning with some Scrap Mechanic Apocalypse World tomorrow, so if you want to come join us for that. But anyways, today's creations. We are checking out creations by Canadian Toss. Now, he does have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to flash it up on screen now. And I've been subbed to him for probably about 2 months now. And he is a very, very talented builder. He's got some fantastic creations. I've got this little motorbike that I'm on right now. You've got the Tsar tank, and that thing is a beast. I'm going to show you that one first. You've got the Banshee Mark II. We've got a Churchill tank and a World War I tank. And where'd it go? We had another one over here. Oh, there it is. He has got a little hovercraft over here too. I don't know how that got over there. Apparently it is actually hovering. But yeah, this is a cool little moped or motorcycle. It's using the suspension glitch. It's using the sensors on the side. It's super stable. Doesn't fall over at all. Turns really nice. I'm actually tipping it a bit here. It's constantly popping wheelies. That looks really awesome. But yeah, let's go check out the first creation. Let's go ahead and stick this over here out of its way. Hope that stops. There it goes. But yeah, this is the Tsar tank. Now, this thing is scary looking. This is a Russian tank from the early 1900s. I think it was 1914s when this thing was built. It was an experimental tank, so I don't think it was mass produced. But this thing is actually this big. Like, this is the real scale of the tank. I've seen several pictures of it, people standing beside it, and that is frightening. That is huge. I don't know how practical it is, but for fear factor, that is definitely up there. Like, I would not want to see that on the battlefield at all. Now, the spiderweb, he's got what looks to be skid steering going on here. You've got all the bearings here for the different directions. You've got some thrusters in here because this thing is made completely out of metal, so it is heavy. You've also got this turning mechanism in the back. It's almost like a little tail. You can see the bearings connected to the steering wheel up there, so this thing shimmies over. I imagine this thing needs all the help it can get to turn because, I mean, just look at it. Like, it is ridiculous. I do love how he did the wheels in the front, though. He's using, I'm assuming, probably one of those pixel circle generators. So those look really nice, and they're nice and even. I wish they just had a part that looked like this in Scrap Mechanic, instead of having to put these little metal blocks and these little shimmies or these little slanted blocks in there. It always kind of sucks having to do that when you think, man, there's got to be an easier way to do this in Scrap Mechanic. But yeah, let's hop up into the creation right here. Now, this thing on the inside, I took a peek into it, and it is amazing. Like, look at this. Look at the amount of detail on the inside of this thing. That is crazy. Let's shut this here. Okay, we're going to start on the left side of this thing because there's a lot to go over in here. This left side has these guns on it, and these are really cool because you can actually move them up and down, and it actually turns. So you've got a decent vantage point. I'm not really sure what type of guns would be in here. I mean, he's got pretty well the same guns all over this thing. And this thing is covered in guns, and I imagine because it doesn't move very fast, so you've got to have guns aiming in basically every direction. Now in here, these are some of the motors. He's got some gas motors. You can see them running up to the cockpit. And he's got gas motors actually powering the turret over there. You've got that. You've got like a radio control center. You can somewhat see out. It's like a peephole. I can't quite get my character where you can see out of it really good. So you've got that. Some storage. You've got some more storage over here. You've got all the controllers right here. Now, that is probably a really scary place to be at when this thing is in battle. I imagine there's a guy down there loading that. I don't know if that's supposed to spin. I know it doesn't on the creation, but maybe it doesn't since it's got a gun on each side. But I could imagine being down in that and being under fire. That's got to be absolutely terrifying. But yeah, you've got that. You've got a top one up here, and it almost... Oh, of course I've fallen into this. Okay, see if we can hop out of that. I think it's just out of range. Let me stick a block down real quick. I don't think I can actually hop out of this thing. There we go. Come on. Nope. Come and lodge. This is a pretty tight quarters in here, so let's see, can I hop up into this? I don't think I can. I think it's really for show, but he's got another set of guns. There's no seats up there or anything, so I want to say that's just for show. But yeah, he's got that up there. You've got the driver's seats on the right side, the passenger or the co-pilot, whatever you want to call him, is over there, and you can see the view. I mean, there's not much view there. You probably have people on each side. It's probably what the peepholes are to help guide this thing along. But yeah, over here you've got some more. This is crew quarters, probably storage. Probably have a bunch of shells in here. More motors, and the second turret over here. And this thing, of course, moves around like the other one. This is a mean-looking craft, and oh, I think I've got to turn this back before I can get out. So let's swoop back like that. There we go. If I can get out of here, it's really, really tight. I do tell you that it's not very easy to move around in this, and that's just more like a scrap mechanic thing. It's their collision box on their characters, a little funny. Let's see. Okay, I think it is time to let's pilot this thing. Okay, so it looks like we only have one button, and that is thrusters. Okay, so we've got the thrusters, and I can imagine this thing has a really, really wide turning radius. It's actually traveling a lot faster than I pictured it would. Got that. You can see that back working. I'm trying to turn it to the right here, and it is swinging and doing it. I can imagine this thing getting stuck on terrain quite often. I mean, maybe that was its downfall, because I don't know. I just don't see how this thing functions. Like, who thought of this? And I know there was a lot of experimental weapons, tanks, and stuff like this in the wars. But, I don't know. This is like a really crafty mind. I think really what it is probably, like I said, a fear factor. Because if you saw this coming at you, I wouldn't be anywhere near it. Let's see. Maybe we should try to turn it. Actually, are we stuck? We're kind of stuck. It's slowly getting over. I think that bottom pipe piece is actually dragging the ground. I want to say that maybe when this thing, I don't know if it ever saw combat. I need to look a little more into that. But if this thing was really in combat, it probably wouldn't move around a lot. I imagine they would kind of set it in the back and just provide support. And just seeing that in the back would be enough to tell me we're not going over there. Let's see. I think we're going to drag over. Let me turn the back piece. We might have to hop out here and try to move this thing. I don't really see, I mean, besides being on a flat world where we can actually, oh, there it goes. Come on. All right, we're moving again, and we're cruising along pretty good. Like I said, I probably could have taken this to the flat world, but that wouldn't be any fun. I like dealing with the terrain here. But that is a beast of a machine. I love the way it looks. Like, it is just spot on. The supports in the front, the big wheel. I mean, that's probably one of my favorite creations aesthetically that I've seen in a long time. And it's really cool because the whole fact that is all vanilla parts. So, stop that. Unload. Let's get one more look at this bad boy. Oh yeah, that is cool. Like, that is really cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of this because it is lagging the world just a bit. So let's go check out the next creation. Alright, the next creation is a World War I tank. Now, this one didn't have a name on it, but it does look very familiar. World War I tanks are always kind of strange, just the way the war played out, and a lot of things were experimental in there, so it's always kind of odd seeing the tanks from the era because they look so different from the tanks, or at least the somewhat, I'm saying modern tank, and I'm looking at a World War II tank. But as far as the design with the treads and all that, I mean, this one always just looks strange. It's an odd design. You've got the guns on the side. I think that's a gun in the front. You got the peepholes up there. A couple on the side here. Now, as far as the spider web, only the bottom ones are moving. So he's using a suspension glitch because it doesn't use skid steering. You only have the single bearings here. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 suspension glitches, I believe, here in the front. So this thing ought to turn really nice. Now, I think the reason he has so many of them, I mean, this thing is completely out of metal. You can see metal there on the little plate, and you can see metal on the inside too. So this is a very, very heavy machine. And oh, look at Duck. Get that. Let's go ahead and hop in real quick. The inside, let's peek down. It's got a couple seats for some passengers back there. Hop in here. Let's try this thing out. This looks really cool. I've been watching, recently I watched the Battlefield 1 trailer, and I think there's a tank very similar to this in there. I wish I knew the name, so if anybody knows the name of this tank, comment below. He just didn't have it wrote in his description. He normally has what vehicle it is as far as like the Tsar tank and stuff like that, or the Churchill, but he didn't have it, he just had World War I tank wrote in this one. Now as far as the steering, it's very nice. It glides along. A lot of that's due to the suspension glitch, but this thing takes terrain really, really good. Do get a bit of lag from it. I think it's probably because, I mean, how many bearings are spinning and going at once? I need to back up here. That little front piece is actually stuck in the ground. See if I can shimmy it out. I think I can. Yeah, it's gonna clear itself. I'm trying to figure out what that is. I wanna say, I mean, that's a little low to me to be a gun, but it looks like the guns he's got on the side match it, so I'm assuming it is a gun. It just seems really low, but I'm assuming trench warfare. Maybe they have a low gun there. I don't think I'm gonna fix this here. Actually, yep, we're about to clear. Nope, I think I might make this worse. There we go. But yeah, I wanna say it's a gun, just looking at it more. This thing is a bit laggy though, and that's really not his fault at all. I mean, it's just the way the game is right now. I would love to see when the engine really cleans up and we get a new one and it's just like hopefully running great, because it would be cool to get multiple tanks out there, and I start to fantasize about stuff like this. If we can get some sort of mod to have like guns or something, that would be really cool. And maybe even destruction. I don't know if that's on the agenda for Scrap Mechanic, but it would be really nice to see destructible blocks. I know they're gonna have terraforming for the terrain, but I don't know as far as the blocks. I mean, you would think with the farm bots and all that, that maybe that would be a thing for survival, but I could be completely wrong. But yeah, let's go ahead and take this over here. We're gonna check the Churchill tank out next. And I think this is actually the one that's lagging the most. The Tsar tank might not have been lagging that bad. And I do apologize if I'm saying that wrong. That's just the impression from what I saw. That's what I've been calling it. So, I mean, if I'm naming that or if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please do let me know. All right, here is the Churchill tank. Now, this is a British-made tank. He's got a Canadian flag on the side of it, so I'm assuming during the war maybe they adopted it at some point. It's a really fantastic looking tank. It almost has like a more of a modern feel. Like you see a lot of World War II tanks as far as the German, like the Tigers and Panzers, or even the American like Sherman. They don't quite look like modern tanks, but this one looks a little closer to one. It would be nice, and it's another Scrap Mechanic thing. We can't have actual treads on here, but once they fix that, that would be really awesome to see treads on this thing. Now, do keep in mind, this is vanilla parts, so I know some of these shapes are kind of deceiving, but you can see the slanted blocks and the metal blocks. This one, once again, is made completely out of metal. I think he tries to get everything as close to scale as possible because this feels just right. Like, it looks right. When the character stands beside it, it feels right. I know this character's a little small, but it just seems right. So you've got that. Let's see, what else is back here? You've got storage. This would be where the motors are. He's got a turret up here, and let's see. Let's go ahead and hop into this. This thing completely turns, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, oh, that's cool. Is that, okay, he's got just a single block there on the inside. A lot of times, last time I tried to make a tank, I accidentally put the bearing on top of the body and just had the turret sitting on top of that, and that created so much lag because of all the collisions. But yeah, that's really nice. So you've got that. Now to drive this thing, this is a little different. This tank, I don't know how you would fit all the stuff necessary to drive in it, so he's got a little bit different method. The tank itself is actually hollow, so let's go into here. You can see the motors. The driver's seat's over here. And I think that's really to do with the constraints as far as the size, because I really think he's going for the tank being more accurate on the outside and the scale, opposed to being able to walk around the inside. Because if you see the insides of these tanks, just go look up any picture of them, and it is tight in there. Like, it is really tight. That would be, I don't know, I'm not the best. I wouldn't say I'm claustrophobic, but being in that tight of a space is gotta be frightening, especially in combat. Having shells just bounce off the outside. Now, as far as driving, I should probably pull out the spider web. I want to say he's got suspension glitches going here since that's looks like it's a single bearing. Very nice. Got some nice speed. It's always amazing what that suspension glitch does and how easy it makes everything move. And I was always opposed to using it, and because I always thought it was going to get fixed. But apparently, according to the developers, that's going to stay a thing. We'll always have the suspension glitch because so many people use it now. It's just been adopted as a method of steering. So I guess I see the point of not getting rid of it because you're going to break a lot of creations on the workshop if you do get rid of it. And like I said, and by the way, this thing is on the workshop. I don't know if I've already mentioned that, but that's really cool. Handles nice, takes the terrain really nice. It's nice and long, so it doesn't tend to get stuck, and it's fairly high off the ground too. It's just got a really, really mean look, and this is probably one of my favorite tanks from World War II, probably behind the Sherman. I do like the German tanks. The King Tigers are absolutely amazing looking. I mean, they're so huge, and those are some really tough looking tanks too, but this is probably up there with some of my favorite ones. Now, I just needed to confirm, I've got the spiderweb pulled up here. Yes, there is a suspension glitch there. But anyways, let's go ahead and check out the next creation. Alright, I've got two more creations to look at. We've already kind of played around with the moped. That is on the workshop. Like, everything's on his workshop if you want to check that out. This thing is a hovercraft in... Oh, wow. There's a lot going on there. I don't even know how to explain what's going on. I see suspension glitches in the back, bunch of controllers. Oh, apparently that's the sensor. Okay, that's a stabilization sensor. Now let's hop into this. I picture this thing actually going really fast. What is the one key? Oh, one key lifts it. Okay. And it uses the WASD to steer, and oh, this thing is really fast. I don't have the particles on, so if you're wondering why you don't see thrusters going off, I probably need to turn them on real quick because the last creation he has is a flying one, and I am terrible at flying. For anybody that's watched my channel long enough, you know every time I get a flying creation, I park it into trees. It's a common thing. Everybody kind of has their own little way to make things fly, and I've been able to adapt to some of the flights, like Moonbo's. I can somewhat pilot his, and Scrapman's had a couple really stable ones, but I don't know, we're gonna have to try the Banshee over there. We'll try that one out and see what it does. Now this thing is really cool. This might be one of the new crafts that I use to go find viewer creations. I like Brent Batches because it goes up in the air and I can go around the map fairly fast. But this thing has a lot of speed, and it really handles nice. I mean, I haven't tipped it over or anything. It's taking all these bumps really good, and the stabilization, it really picks up. Some of these can get behind. I guess the bigger the craft is, sometimes the stabilization will get behind and it'll just kind of tip over, but this thing's really nice and nimble. So let's go ahead and take it back to the area. I really am curious about that Banshee creation. I want to get into it real quick. Alright, here is the Banshee, and I want to say this is from, and I'm probably wrong, Halo, maybe? I don't know, it could be Halo, it could be something else. I don't know, that name is really commonly used to explain, and oh my. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's thrusters, controllers, angling out the wings. You've got, this is like propellers over here. Wow, that's impressive. That looks great. The more I look at it, the more I fall in love with this thing. I know there's been one or two very similar to this on the workshop that I've seen. He created this one, I think, quite a while ago, and it's a fairly popular item on the workshop. Oh, am I stuck? I might have wedged myself. There we go. Oh, I'm still stuck. There we go. Hop over here. Let's climb into this thing real quick. And ooh, I like that cockpit. I imagine, let's see. Oh, that's gonna blend in really nice, the windshield. Let's see if we can put that down real quick. Okay, that's 8. Oh, whoa. Okay, 7 activates those. Let's see. Oh, I can't fly. Okay, there we go. That's 2's gonna pick the nose up, which it seems to lean a little bit forward. Let's see, 1. Okay, 1 tilts it down. He's got some instructions on there, and I read them. I'm not good at remembering them. Okay, we need a roll. Let's see. Okay, there's roll. Okay, So I'm assuming 5 and 6 are roll. Okay, that's nice. I love how it flexes. Like, you can see it when it moves around, those bearings will shimmy around. That's cool. Let's see. What else do we have here? I'm afraid of screwing something up. Okay, it's the cockpit. 7's to turn the motors on. Let's lean forward and try to go forward on this here. So 3 and 4 are left and right, and roll is 5 and 6. So we can kind of roll this thing out. I don't know how to... Actually, I don't know how to do a lot of things here. Sorry if I sound confused here. It's because I am, and I'm trying to fly this thing while talking. That is really cool. I love how when it does like roll or turn, you can see the actual wings, or the whatever you want to call them, they're actually flexing. It's got a really unique look to it. That kind of bugs me. I really want to know what this is from. I know it's from something. I want to say another game, and oh, just when I was thinking everything was going so... Uh-oh. I might save it. I might save it. Oh. Oh, look at that. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's tree. Tree. Go forward. Wow, I actually look like I might know what I'm doing, even though I have no clue. Wow, this is fantastic. I love this thing. I love watching people build flying crafts. Like, I love when Moonbo builds them, and people like Canadian Toss. He's got a lot of flying crafts on his channel. He's got a couple really big ones. Okay, question is, can I land this? And this is one of my weaknesses is landing. So let's kill the motors, start them. The only thing I can think of doing is like killing and starting them, killing them and starting them. This might actually work. This might be a smooth landing here. Oh, here we go. This thing would actually work really good in the apocalypse world. Like, this thing looks just mean. Like, if you stick some guns on the front of this, I know this is supposed to replicate something else, but I would say if you stuck guns on this, this would be apocalypse ready. That is a really cool creation. I love the shapes. Love the little tanks on the front. I don't know if those are supposed to be missiles or those maybe are fuel tanks. Those might be actual missiles because you can see the fins off the back of them. What do these do? Okay, those are just switches and logic gates that don't do anything. But yeah, that's really cool. But I do want to thank him for sharing these creations with me today. All these creations, like I said, are available on his workshop. Also, think about checking out his channel because he releases videos quite often with Scrap Mechanic, and he's coming up with a lot of new creations each day. Like, we've basically just scratched the surface, and I just highly suggest checking all that out. But anyways, guys, that's going to probably about do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I do apologize for sounding kind of funny. It's not really fun being sick at all. So I do appreciate the patience, and even though I'm kind of behind here, but I will have another Scrap Mechanic episode coming out tomorrow with the Apocalypse World. I'm working hard on that right now. And then Sunday we'll probably play something else, maybe some more City Skylines, something like that. Anyways, guys, if you like to like and subscribe, everything helps my channel, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.